Hey there guys, it's the Camel again and welcome to another episode of Camel Kingdom, and today you can see we are spending a little look on the finished Mainstreet. Well, by saying finished I mean actually 95% finished, but everything else I'm going to do right now I'm doing off screen or somewhere in between, or maybe in stream, but you know I won't do any major episode on this channel for the Mainstreet, because I think it's pretty much done in the entire shape, and I want you to talk a little bit, I want to talk a little bit through the entire Mainstreet to tell you a little bit about what I thought, or what I took as inspiration for it, and what the idea is behind the entire thing. So maybe let's start at the beginning, and by saying it's not entirely finished, I will also tell you what I'm going to do. So first of all, none of those buildings have proper lighting. You will see later on I will turn on the night view. You can see I will do lighting as well, but I think it's pretty boring to watch me doing this in a time-lapse video. It's kind of boring to see placing all the lights and changing and stuff. You know, that's something I'm going to do somewhere else. So I want you to show. So first of all, we start with the entrance building in general. So it's a pretty simple one, I have to say. It's modern looking, I think. I'm pretty happy with it, but I will also add some small parking lots here and there, and make a little bit of an entrance area in this area over here. I'm not going to do crazy stuff like Utrecht does. So this crazy thing, but yeah, I will also do some floor graphics over here. But yeah, so this is basically the entrance. You can go over here, and then we are just inside the park. So this area, I kind of wanted to have this because you kind of often see those first areas of a park, or maybe not just of a theme park, but also of kind of floral parks, or kind of, you know, just fair trades as well. That's a pretty open area at the beginning of the park, where you can, for example, you are with a bigger group, you know, not everybody can just go through the entrance and be immediately in the park and go, you know. There is kind of this little area where you can wait for your mates until they all pass the entrance ticket booth. So for example, I do have on the left and on the right hand side, I have so kind of like those quick entrance ways. So if you already pre-ordered your ticket online, for example, you can go in here, or maybe in here. I will also change this and make in general the signs a little bit different, so that you can actually see. And wait, I have to turn off the volume of the soundtrack a little bit down, because it's actually pretty loud. It's still pretty loud. Can we just... Okay, that should be better. Yeah, but what I wanted to say is that you can also see this little area as the beginning area of this park, where people can go in and wait for their mates, or if they don't have to wait, they go immediately into the park. So then the first building we do have over here is kind of this little supply building, for example. So if there are kind of supply, yeah, kind of these little cars, or what you have in parks to clean up things. I don't have the word for it in English, but you know, those, and can go in here and then just join the park. But also these kind of festival floats, for example, they can also go out of here. It's a little bit small. I have to maybe, I don't think that I'm going to do, but realistically I would have to enlarge this doorway over here, so that bigger floats can go out of here, but I will keep this as it is. Then we can move on, and I just see that this is, oh, okay, I see why this is the case. So yeah, basically I would have to go a little bit more in detail with those floor rails, where this actually party floats go over. So that's basically the party float railway going on here. But anyways, on the right hand side we do have some pretty basic buildings. This is also the exact same building. I just changed the balcony in front of it, and a little bit of the color slightly changed, with a little bit of a detail here and there, and so to create this little building on the right hand side, which is You know, the floor over here, the little pathway over here is another little detail which makes it look a little bit more interesting than it would be without it, because, you know, it's just a simple building, which is really just the first building of the park. And you can see when you go into the park over here, you kind of have this view blocked by all the bushes and foliage over here, which is fully intended so that you go in with the feeling that those are actual buildings. And when you then join the park, as you can see over here, you do have the immersion that you are in this main street without being interrupted by a non-filled up building. Because if we go behind those, you can see they are completely open. Also, this one is open, and those are open as well. I will close them up later, of course I will, but at the moment you know, that's something I can do whenever I want to, because you wouldn't see it either way. So it's pretty much, you know. Then we do have this building over here, which is also a little bit of a standard-ish building without too much crazy things going on, with a standard roof, some of those dormers over here. And we do have our first shop in here, which is, I have no idea which that one is. Let's have a look. It's just a memento. Okay, that's basically the problem when you don't have those signs in yet, because I simply wanted to do it later on. We have this little water planter thingy going on over here. Actually, I also have I've hidden a path down here, so people actually can go to the shop. It's not just cosmetic reasons, it's actually working. So on the left hand side we do have the first fancier building, which is kind of a little bit of an eye catcher when you go into the park. So I kind of tried to have a little bit of a diversification, if that's the word. So I wanted to have it as diverse as possible. So we do have the simple kind of, yeah, it has some medieval influences, but of course it's kind of a fairy tale-ish, Main Street-ish building. But of course it's maybe the most inspired, medieval-inspired building of all those buildings in here, which I kind of wanted to mix in just as kind of a little bit of an interesting extra. But then we do have this one over here, which I imagine could be kind of these yeah, colonial American buildings, which have been built in the mid 18th century, I guess. Could be pretty much the time where this has been built as a center of a city. So that's pretty much the first eye catcher over here. And then we do have the second eye catcher on the right hand side here, which is this, which is not as tall as this one, which is also intended because it's just like this little, it's looking like a theater entrance more or less, and this was also the idea behind this. And then you can just go here and grab some, I guess it's hot dogs, I don't know. We don't have to look up every one of those. On the left hand side then there is kind of a filler building, it's nothing special. But what I wanted to try over here is first of all have the lower part of the building stand out slightly in terms of, or maybe to interrupt the face of the main street, because I think it's pretty boring if those all were lined up perfectly. It would be pretty boring. So I have to move them every here and there to get it in a little bit more interesting, and therefore I just made this stand out a tiny little bit. Also the people can then go into this building without having to go behind all of those. But I wanted to do then a little bit of a transition over here. This is why I have this little planter going on over. By the way, I do like this planter pretty much still. I would love to make it a tiny little bit wider, I guess, to make it maybe 2 times as wide. It could look a little bit better in terms of hedge. You know, I love how thin this version is over here, but I don't know if it works with the foliage in there, but you know, for the moment it should be okay. But as I said, this is kind of just a little bit sticking out to make it look a little bit more interesting, and also to hide this entrance a little bit to the left hand side, which we will come in to this in a moment. But first of all, let's keep a look onto this. I just grabbed her and, you know, I placed her on the balcony. Yeah, you know, it works pretty much as kind of a little trick, but later on in the game she will be fucked up a lot because she's just standing on top of the balcony doing nothing. But yeah, this is in terms of architecture, it's pretty much just a filler building. On the right hand side we do have another filler building, which is a little bit more detailed than the other one is. And by the way, I have to move slightly with my controller for a second, otherwise it will disconnect in a few seconds. But yeah, this is also a non-functional building. It's just in terms of you know, style and cosmetic reasons. It's like a little shop going on, and I tried to do some wider windows by just filling in with scenery or art pieces and not taking the normal windows. I did the same with those over here because I feel like it's adding a little bit more different textures to the entire looks, which makes it a little bit more interesting. Of course, we do have this fancy building, as I said, over here, which is this little theater entrance thingy, and has also some gold details to it. I took those kind of, what is this iron bar or iron pillar thing from the flags, and also those, are those the trumpets? I don't know. No, it's not the trumpets. I guess it's the lower part of another flag, I guess. Anyways, I think it's looking kind of cool because it's this golden detail, which you can just do with actually golden assets and not just with a yellowish tint to it. Anyways, let's continue on the left hand side, because this is one of my most favorite buildings, because this is the entrance to the gallery. So I'm a big fan also of those galleries you kind of often see in Mainstreets, not everywhere. Damn, talking is not that easy today. You kind of see them in some main streets, so that you do have a gallery to the left or right hand side where you can go through, and you have some shops in the backyard as well. So for example, in Disneyland Paris, there's also this little area where you can also go into some shops and see some posters of older movies, of some attractions, and you know, you can just pass also on the left hand side behind all of those buildings. And that was kind of the idea to go into here as well. But also the building itself kind of is a pretty cool one, I guess, because I like how this is a pretty simple flat face without too many details, but then with this big dormer in front of it with those little how they called, I forgot it already, but yeah, those sun hiding thingies, I don't know, yeah, just forgot about it, but those things in front of the window. Yeah, some small details here and there in this, with a little bit of a kind of bar in front of the window bar, and yeah, that's it. But to the gallery we will come to it later on. I will just go through the main street before we go actually there. Then the next building on the left hand side is also kind of a little bit of a filler building. It's not too crazy in terms of details, but it has also a kind of a nice shop front, which I spent some time in to make those little sun protectors, jalousie things. I don't know if they're even called jalousie in English. I mean, the name of the origin of the German name is definitely the English word jalousie, but are they called like this? I have no idea. But yeah. Then we do have maybe my favorite building of the entire main street. It might be a little bit surprising, but I actually love this building. I love how the kind of different entranceway worked out. I made this with kind of these tilt walls to the left and right side. Maybe I'm doing something on the floor to kind of have a little bit of a different textured entrance to it as well, but you can really imagine as if this would be a big house where you can walk in, and I imagine to have a staircase right behind this entrance, and this is a really nice shop with high shelves and a lot of books maybe inside, so kind of a library thing going on. I don't know. So something like that, you know, would be a pretty nice shop, and it's a little bit more majestic than the other ones with those golden aspects here and there. It's kind of a filler building, but it's also looking pretty great, I guess. And it has also a really interesting roof going on over here, because I just made this out of custom pieces so that the roof itself looks a little bit more interesting than the others do. On the right hand side we can just move on with this big corner building over here, which has also a little bit of an interesting tower going on over here with a nice spire going on, and also a little bit of a roundish balcony, which I tried a lot. I'm maybe, let's say, 99% happy with it. Maybe in the future with some new pieces from some updates I might improve the balcony again, but for the moment I'm happy with it. Also tried to have this little different texture on the floor as well, with a little bit of a wood texture going on, having this little border over here to kind of shape the plaza, which is kind of starting over here a little bit. Also, it always helps to have some more textures to the ground, so that the path is not just flat. I mean, like, if you would imagine this entire thing would be one big area of concrete, and just painted on top of it to make it look like it would be different, you know. And this is what I wanted to show with it as well, to make it as open as possible, and the path below is also shaping through it so that people actually will move a little bit more free over this entrance area. So then we have a little bit of a restaurant area over here where people can sit down, with my most favorite. Let's zoom in because I do like it. So we do have salt and pepper as well. So if you grab something from those little shops over here and you think you have to do some more spices in, you can just do by grabbing those, as I imagine, you know. Having a little bit of a flower bed going on over here. And then we come to the last building of the main street, which is actually this corner building, which I'm also really happy with. I kind of wanted to have another corner building over here to share to end the entire main street, to this side as well as to this side. And I just wanted to go with this big bulky building, but also with some special balcony thing going on, where I took those normal fences and just what did I do? Yeah, just inverted them and used them as kind of those little elements going on here and there. Have some lanterns, lamps in, and yeah, I think I have to do something with the ground part of those shop fronts, and also add a door maybe. But yeah, those are kind of little details I'm going to do. As I said in the very first episode of this main street, those are all details I'm always doing in the end, because now as you do have the whole picture, you can really see where things are missing. So for example, I have to fill up these little areas over here, and I have to put down some signs and, you know, some little details to round up the entire picture. But you know, there has to be something you will see in the end. But for this moment, I think it's pretty fun to show you actually how this part of the park looks right now, and also going and give you an idea what we are going in the next episodes, because I always was kind of trying to hide stuff away from you to keep you interesting. What? Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure you are interesting, but to keep you interested. But you know, I'm just going to tell you what we have to do in the future, and to maybe give you a little bit of a beacon, and you know, that would be pretty much more interesting for you, I guess. But anyways, let's come to the gallery now, which is the idea I have already told, which is the idea of it. But also we have this little doorway to the backstage area, and of course there is no door or somewhat over here, but I would maybe add some in the future. But if you look from the guest's point of view, it's totally fine. You can't see anything else. You just move past here and you just see this gallery going on, and there is this doorway to the backyard. By the way, what's shining through there? Oh, okay, it's the lamp, which is okay. It's not too bad. I just was confused what this light is going on there. Okay, yeah, it's not too bad. But yeah, we have this gallery going on, and well, there was a lag. And another strange lag. I think the game is saving for a second. But yeah, let's just have a look to this gallery. So, as you can see, I also love this view a lot, because I imagine when you leave the park, for example, and maybe it's late at night already, or just like a few minutes before the park is going to close, you don't necessarily walk the entire way over the main street and just watch and be stunned over the entire main street. Some days it's also just, you know, you just want to leave the park. And if you just come from this area and go over here, you don't want to go over here as well. You might just want to take the shortcut over here and walk through this gallery. You will have some last influences from the park with little frames going on over here, have some advertising, but then you can't avoid to have this view over here, and you just move here and see bam, okay, as a last view, and you see you just leave the park with a little bit of a smile. And that's the idea. I mean, if you take this way, you definitely will take and leave the park with a smile as well. But for those taking the shortcut, it's just it offers a different view of the entire area, and I think that's something which is pretty interesting. And it also gives you the opportunity, maybe if you just join the park and you have been a lot of times to the park and you know where you want to go, you can also take this shortcut over here, and move over here through this area, and just bam, you know, you do have a pretty much of a different view of the park. It offers you a different view. And if we just move to this side over here, you can see we are facing, if we are standing over here, we are facing this area over there, okay? And if we then go in here, okay, bam, you do have this building over here and stuff like that. But if you go, where's the gallery? There we go. In here, you have a completely different view. You go over here and bam, it's entirely different, because that's on the right-hand side, there's on the left-hand side. You kind of join already another area of the park, okay? And that's basically all I can tell about this Mainstreet. So I have to say I'm pretty happy with it, and I have to say again that's my first Mainstreet I ever made, and yeah, I'm kind of happy with it, and I think, yeah, I wouldn't be disappointed if that would be a real Mainstreet. So in the end, I can say this is a pretty nice result, and yeah, what else can I say about this? I think not too much, because I'll definitely go in this maybe in the future again when the park might be finished, if this would be ever finished, I don't know. But yeah, for now it's fine. And now moving on into the next area, which obviously isn't there yet, but we will have this area as a pirates area. I'll definitely go to change this lake over here a little bit. We will enlarge it a tiny little bit over here, so that the lake side is a little bit closer to this path over here. I will enlarge it over here as well to get a little bit more of terrain in over here. So the basic idea is that we do have the pirates area over here, which will be, yeah, maybe until this area over here, but it's a little bit thin, or it's a little bit narrow over here. So we can, and we will definitely use this entire area over here will be used for a dark ride. And I do have a lot of ideas, but I have to wait what the update in late June will bring us. I think we will first of all start with the area in general, and not saying that I know anything. I don't know anything. I don't know a thing about the update, so that's what I wanted to say. But I have some ideas what could be in, and if there is, let's say, if there are a few things in I'm waiting for, this dark ride will be awesome, and it will be working, because now I think it's not possible to do it 100% correctly, and that's something I'm waiting for. But we will have definitely in this area, I can already spoiler you, we will do have one coaster. I'm not entirely sure which one. I'm at the moment yeah, just negotiating a little bit, or kind of, no, it's not the right word. I'm having a few coasters in mind, but I'm not sure which one I'll take. Maybe I'm going to do kind of a little bit of a poll in the first episode, but we will have kind of a different theming of a pirates area. So I have to say, without offending anybody, but okay, I'm also putting myself under pressure now, but you don't mind. Okay, it doesn't matter. I just say it as I think. I haven't seen a pirates area at all, which I would be happy with. So those are all I've seen in the workshop and everywhere else. They are amazing by the looks of it, and they're also amazing in terms of kind of the pieces the game has offered you. But it's, I don't know why, but for me it's lacking something, because I do have another idea of a pirates area. I don't know how to say. It's maybe also because I'm always kind of feeling strange when you use too many in-game objects as for what they are supposed to be, which might be pretty strange to listen to now, but I feel like you can do better, and I am going to try it, and I'm going to improve in a way that I'm happy with, which doesn't have to be better than someone else's, but I want to be happy with my pirates area in the end. And I'm also assuming that I'm going to build a custom ship over there, a pirate ship. So yeah, I think that's maybe all I can say right now about this upcoming area over here. But I hope you enjoyed this little tour of the main street. Maybe as the last view, we can also move over here and wait for a second. And there goes my controller. I forgot to move it. But yeah, so hope you enjoyed this episode, which is kind of a different one. I didn't create anything, but yeah, as for what it was supposed to, it could be a pretty interesting one. So hope to see you in the next episode when you do actually see me building again. And yeah, that's it. So see you in the next one, guys, and have a nice day. Bye bye.